But joining me now, we have Aaron McLaughlin, a senior economist at the Conference Board in the Economy, Strategy and Finance Center, and Cornell Belcher, MSNBC political analyst and president of Brilliant Corners Research and Strategy. Welcome to you both. Aaron, those unexpected Trump declarations really rattled markets. The EU is the second biggest trading partner with the U.S. What effect will a 50% tariff have on goods in the U.S.? And do economists buy overall the Secretary Bessent or Trump administration claims that these new tariffs are going to open potential dialogue?
Well, it is very interesting that this is part of a negotiation strategy, perhaps. I understand that the Secretary and EU and also our trade representative are in the process of negotiations with the EU. However, a 50% tariff would be a huge inconvenience and would really raise prices for consumers. The EU is, as a bloc, is one of our largest trading partners. We imported $606 billion in 2024 from the EU. Currently, the tariff rate is at 10%, so going up to 50 would definitely cause a surge in prices.
Cornell, as you gauge public sentiment on the economic front, how fatigued are people with these sudden shifts by Donald Trump, and how much is this affecting his overall support?
Look, Alex, voters are right now less optimistic about the economy than they were, quite frankly, during Biden's worst numbers. And even going back to some subgroups of voters, they're less optimistic about the economy than they were around COVID, right? Reuters poll came out this past week and showed his job approval around the economy at an all-time low. And look, his job approval overall, Alex, moves back and forth between, over his last presidency and this one. His overall job approval moves back and forth between anywhere between 46 and 45%. But his overall job approval right now is down in 42s. But he's always had a plus job approval on the economy. Republicans have historically had better numbers on improving the economy than Democrats. But right now, he's way underwater with overall economy and even further underwater with handling inflation. At the same time, voters feeling that a recession is coming on, and consumer, consumer confidence is cratering, and it is absolutely impacting his numbers.
I want to pick up on that with you, Aaron, because there's a headline I want to share from your organization. U.S. consumer confidence plunged again in April. Expectations for the future at a 13-year low. What is driving that, Aaron? Are people actually feeling this tariff whiplash already in their pocketbooks?
I think they are just beginning to feel it. So, of course, so many surveys are sort of backwards looking, and Liberation Day was in early April. So we're only, just about 5 or 6 weeks out from a lot of these tariffs taking into effect. So, our CPI and some of the other inflation numbers haven't yet hit, but that expectation that consumers know it's coming is really driving them to have very, very low expectations. And yes, we have not seen an expectation that low since 2011.
Cornell, have Democrats effectively messaged on the Trump economy? Because given the tariff whiplash, you'd think it would be target rich for them.
It's funny, effective messaging and Democrats don't necessarily go together very well.
What is that?
It's like herding cats, Alex. It's like herding cats. But look, I think this is an opportunity when the president's numbers have gone underwater with the economy. And look, we did focus groups 2 weeks ago, and voters aren't, quite frankly, understanding the tariff, but they know it's bad, and they know it's going to, and they feel as though it's going to get worse. So it gives Democrats an opening on the economy, to the likes of which they haven't had in a very long time, because voters are turning sour on the economic policies and the economic direction that this president is giving. I think there's a prime opportunity for Democrats to put together an economic package that is about everyone thriving and lifting all boats. And I think around this tax bill that they've just pushed through, which MSNBC's reported on, most of those benefits don't go to regular working class Americans. And I think it's an excellent opportunity for Democrats to start speaking to the economic angst, the growing economic angst of working class Americans, and put the Republicans on the defensive.
Aaron, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon spoke this week on the risks of stagflation. Take a listen to this.
you'll have stagflation. So I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't want the reader to say he's predicting the type. I'm not. But we have to be prepared for something like that. I think the global fiscal deficits are inflationary.
So Apple's now one of several major U.S. companies like Walmart, Target, warning consumers pricing pressures are going to hit store shelves soon. The Conference Board doesn't see a recession per se, but if consumers stop spending, could Jamie Dimon be right?
Well, it's interesting. So one element of stagflation is rising unemployment. And so that's really, consumers may cut back when they think that prices are going up, but they're still going to spend. And 2/3 of our economy is about consumer spending. But once someone becomes unemployed or a member of their family becomes unemployed, that's when we see spending really come back in. And it can have a little bit of a spiral effect. So right now we have very, very low unemployment. It's about 4.2%. We do predict that these tariffs will cause a rise in unemployment and that we will jump over 4.5, perhaps to 4.7% or higher. So it will, it will yet to be seen. But the other point is a company like Apple, the kind of time it takes to set up, to onshore a manufacturing facility, to build iPhones, regardless of cost, it takes years.
Yeah. Cornell, Donald Trump held that crypto dinner this week. I mean, it cost over, $1 million a plate on average to attend. But Democrats say it's a sign of corruption. Against the backdrop of this economic uncertainty and the tariff whiplash, how does that dinner play?
I think that dinner plays, I think it's hard for Republicans to spin this. And I've been watching them trying to spin this over the last couple of days. Look, and look, I don't think this should be a partisan issue, right? Our founding fathers feared this sort of thing, and they tried to build in checks to make sure that our presidency wouldn't be one where the president enriched himself and his family and benefited economically from being in the office. And clearly you see, and again, this shouldn't be partisan. This should be bipartisan. This was a fear of our founding fathers. We have someone in office clearly benefiting and his family benefiting from him being in the presidency. And look, Americans, if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, you cannot be for what you see, this wholesale corruption, him selling the White House. This on top of taking a $400 million plane from Qatar. It just stinks, and voters begin to smell it. And when you look at those independent voters who are actually turning hard against the president right now, Republicans are going to have a hard time spinning this, and they're going to have to figure out how to spin this going into the midterm election. Because if those economic numbers keep rising, issues keep rising, and Lord forbid the unemployment rises like we just talked about, it's going to be a perfect storm against the Republicans.
Aaron, the president has repeatedly claimed the tariffs are not going to affect Americans. Again, he said it this week. Take a listen.
They're not hurting, they're helping because they're creating jobs in America. We're creating tremendous amounts of jobs in America like you've never seen. We're having investment in America. We're not getting ripped off by every country in the world.
Does the business world buy any of this? I mean, are jobs being created? Is the investment as notable as he suggests? I mean, we just talked about potential unemployment.
We have not seen, we've seen unemployment tick up very, very slightly in the last few months. We have not seen the creation of any new jobs. Again, onshoring takes many, many years to build factories, to finance the building of those factories, and you have to have qualified, available employment. Also, the new factories are not the factories of decades ago. They are automated in large part. They use robotics. And so that's another component that is very, very expensive. Tariffs also weigh on the cost of building these factories with steel, aluminum, lumber, and all of the components that go in them. So, it's not as if just the policy of tariffs is, flawed. It's that changing our industrial manufacturing base takes years.
Cornell, again, the president saying they're not hurting, they're helping when it comes to tariffs. We're creating tremendous jobs in America like you've never seen. Well, the never seen part, perhaps. Is the public buying what he's saying?
No, his economic numbers show it. But let me say something much broader, right? And it is Wall Street. For better or worse, campaigns cost a lot of money in this country. And Wall Street and big corporations have bankrolled the president and Republicans. And at this point, when you look at the sort of uncertainty and chaos that he's inflicting, you have to ask, look, Wall Street, is the tax cuts worth it? Right? Are these tax cuts worth this sort of economic chaos and uncertainty? Because you know better. And here's the other thing. Look, Yamiche talked about it in the last segment. He went out there and bashed Obama and Biden at this, which is something is unheard of before those cadets. But imagine for one moment that Barack Obama was interfering in the free market system the way Donald Trump is. Imagine how Wall Street would lose their stuff. They would lose their minds if Barack Obama was having this sort of chaos and pain inflicted just on a whim. Wall Street, elections coming up, you got to make them pay for this. If you pull the plug on the pocketbook, and a lot of this might stop.